for me. Uh, the biggest question that has been, surrounding now Kolkata franchise is that have they chosen the right captain? Uh, I want to know both of your thoughts. For me, I don't think it's much of a difference because I see someone like Chandrakant Pandit running the show, just how Baz McCullum was doing it over the last 2 seasons. So for me, it's not big of a deal. It could have either been Shardul, it could have either been Mandeep, because Mandeep's been a seasoned player in the domestic circuit and has led Punjab in a lot of domestic tournaments. But I want to know the thoughts of you two on what do you make of this combination of Chandrakant Pandit and Nitish Rana.
Obviously, it's very unproven. I do, though, lean towards agreeing with you about Rana over, say, a Mandeep Singh, because I just don't see Mandeep Singh being necessarily a regular in the team. It's been very rare that he's played as a first choice player throughout his IPL career, really, as certainly in recent years. And so for me, it had to be a choice between Nitish Rana or Shardul Thakur. There was some chat I read on social media of Sunil Narayan being captain, but I think that's just a bit strange. I don't look at him potentially as really as a sort of captain. It would definitely, I think, be someone who would inspire by his performance rather than being a vocal leader. So for me, it was almost like, well, who have we got? This is kind of the obvious but least worst option, I suppose, if you like. That's probably not a great place to be in.
Yeah,
Sumesh,
I
your
think
thoughts?
they've just handed over to the captaincy to the guy who will probably play all 14 games. So which is basic a safe choice. We have known in the past that Kolkata tend to have analysts, and they even have Nathan Lehman when Owen Morgan was around. So they are a team who sort of have those backroom staff who at times take decisions. So it doesn't really matter, and it's a safe choice in my opinion.
I suppose a lot of it also had to do with seniority in the squad, because Nitish Rana has been around for the franchise, I think, from the beginning of 2018 or the 2018 season. So they probably wanted to reward that loyalty, if you may call it. Uh, but yeah, like Dan said, it's not a great place to be in. Now, I think this is the most difficult part of this segment when it comes to analyzing Kolkata, and that segment is what's the probable 11. And I don't think that it's difficult for us only. It would be difficult for the Kolkata management as well. What is the probable 11?
Okay, so I actually ran a Twitter poll on this a few days ago. I gave 4 options, and I could have probably given 10, and it still wouldn't have exhausted the amount of combinations that the Kolkata management might have to choose from, or the potential 11s they've probably got down on a laptop somewhere that they're all discussing. Now, in this Twitter poll, and I really value Twitter polls actually, because the wisdom of the crowd is pretty decent. And I gave the option of this team that's now up on the screen, but with Jagadish with Jagadish in for Mandeep Singh, and that was picked by over 70% of the respondents. I've now gone back and thought about it a bit more, and I think Mandeep Singh probably looks a bit more of a number 4 than Jagadish will be. So that was my final 11 with Gurbaz, Venkatesh Iyer, Nitish Rana as captain, Mandeep Singh, Rinku Singh, Andre Russell, Sunil Narayan, Shardul Thakur, Umesh Yadav, Lockie Ferguson, Varun Chakrabarti.
Fair enough. I tend to agree with this 11, except for maybe, I'd rather swap the batting order a little bit. I'll have Mandeep open, I'll have Rinku Singh at 4, and I'll have Venkatesh Iyer at 5.
Okay.
Because I think Venkatesh Iyer, with his very little, though not a lot, very little experience with the Indian team, he showed that he can bat at 5, 6, 7. He has the power. He has some of those strokes wherein he can just access different areas of the field at the death. And I believe that if he also, like I said, something for Sanju Samson, that if he wants to make a point to make it to the Indian team, he's better off batting at 5, 6, 7 rather than opening. And I also feel that he's a better bet to bat at number 5 or 4 as opposed to Mandeep Singh, because Mandeep Singh has not really clicked even at number 3 for a lot of franchises. I believe Mandeep as an opener is better. Uh, and then between you have Gurbaz as an opener and a wicketkeeper. Uh, I do think that Liton Das is one option or one alternative that they can look at, given how he's been in decent form as well, both in ODIs and T20Is. Today also he scored a very good 80, and he might just be a better bowler, better batter of pace bowling as opposed to Gurbaz. That's my thoughts
Yeah,
on the 11.
yeah, and looking at that, I mean, I think that might be how the team goes in terms of they pick a more senior, safer option, if you like, in Litton Das. However, I mean, if you said to me who has the highest ceiling as a player, Gurbaz by far has the highest ceiling, in my opinion. If you are saying to me where are these two players going to be in 3 years' time, I think Gurbaz will be the superstar. And look, if they play Litton Das as well, I just don't see where the runs are going to come from in the top five at any kind of pace. It just looks so pedestrian. It really does look like. I mean, you potentially Rinku Singh might produce some fireworks, but where's the strike rates over 135 coming from in this top five?
Sumesh, your thoughts on the 11? Would you go with some other player in the 11 or in the setup, or you tend to, or would you have a different batting order? You tend to agree with the players that are there. What
Yeah,
are your
I'm,
thoughts?
I'm, yeah, I'm slightly uncomfortable with the three lefties at 3-4-5, which is in your 11, Gurkirat. If I heard that
Okay.
right, Nitish Rana, Rinku, and Venki, which is sort of, I think, a recipe for trouble. It makes it easier for the opposition. So
Hmm.
here is something that will happen. They'll keep
Hmm.
Venki as an opener. They will
Hmm.
obviously play Litton ahead of Gurbaz just because of the
Recency
good
bias.
performance against India, against India quota, and they will play Jagdishan out of place in the middle order, because at this point of time it looks like Jagdishan has a higher ceiling over someone like a Mandeep Singh. Now,
Hmm.
last something that I experimented with you guys as well is putting a very left field 11 that I feel that they should have. Something that we did for
Hmm.
Lucknow as well. What I feel
I
is
I
I don't
can
think
I
yeah
can I can
I don't
figure out
think
which
Lockie
player, which
Ferguson.
player's inclusion you are going to ask for. But go ahead.
No. So I'm just thinking, does Lockie Ferguson actually provide as much a value as maybe replacing him with some other Indian pacer and playing both Litton and Gurbaz in the top two? So just hear me out. 11 that I was actually thinking about having Litton and or Gurbaz and Venkatesh here to open, then Litton at 3, Nitish
Hmm.
Rana 4, Rinku 5, Russell, Shardul, Umesh Narayan, Varun, and then Varun Arora as the Vaibhav Arora as the number 11, which
Hmm.
in my opinion sort of gives them an extra batter. Now
Hmm.
here the question is they have two pacers in Vaibhav Arora and Umesh Yadav who are essentially new ball bowlers.
Yeah,
Hmm.
So those are your power play bowlers. Shardul and Varun become your middle over bowlers. Now, something that happened with them in the last season was teams identify that Sunil Narayan is their main bowler, so to speak. So they played him out. Kolkata spinners had the best economy in last season, but not the best wicket takers. So if I'm in that camp, I might gamble with actually have bowling Narayan at the death along with Andrews instead
Hmm.
of playing a Lockie Ferguson just for that role, who
Hmm.
on his day is similarly expensive. So I would
Hmm.
rather use that spot to
Hmm.
play one more batter so
Hmm.
that gives me some cushion in a fragile
Hmm.
batting lineup.
Hmm. I thought that you might, say that uh, can we include someone like David Wiese, and open with two Indian openers, and strengthen the middle order against pace bowling.
Actually, not a bad option. I mean, if I mean, so Litton or Vise, any one
Yeah,
of them, and not play Lockie Ferguson at all. So Vise
yeah.
actually works twofold. It's probably it's even better than the 11 that I suggested,
I would
because
prefer
VZ
Visa
contributes.
in the 11 over Litton Das in that situation. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes more sense. So I think
Because
we are watching brainstorming work in real time.
Maybe the
yeah,
management should be watching this.
because the reason why I say that maybe David Wiese is a better option, because uh, we have seen that even the returns of someone like Andre Russell with the bat have gone down, and they've gone down drastically. He's not the same batter that he was in 2018 or 2019, and we've seen him fall to the obvious trap wherein the opposition will bring back their two most extra spacers and go short at him, and he just can't resist that temptation of trying to pull them and get beaten for pace, or top edge them either to third man or mid wicket, and get out like that. So there is that possibility. But again, the next question in this segment is uh, probably that the player that was most important for them has already been ruled out. But anyway, amongst the ones that are available, who do you think is the most indispensable for Kolkata to have a chance?
Uh, Even though he's not anywhere near the level that he was 4 or 5 years ago, as you just said, Jeff, as well, has to be Andre Russell, because where on earth are they going to get their boundaries from unless he performs? And ultimately, I think we've also alluded to the weakness of their death bowling. Now, I don't particularly value Andre Russell as a death bowler, but
Mhm.
if he doesn't play, where are the death bowlers?
Yeah. Yeah, because on his day, I've seen him nail Yorkers and nail that wide Yorker coming around the wicket. Now, that is something not even a lot of frontline bowlers can do. And he does have the heavy ball, which, sometimes the cricketers talk about, wherein with a very short run up, he's deceptive with his pace and he can really rush the batters on the short ball. I think he still has. How, how fit he remains during the course of the tournament is also very important for KKR. Somesh, your thoughts on who's the most indispensable player for them?
So first and foremost, my thoughts on Andy Russell, the fielder. Now, Kolkata know that how important he is for their team.
Yeah,
They sort of sponsor his medical treatment. All
yeah,
his expenses are paid by Kolkata.
yeah,
They know how fragile he is. It's like
yeah,
100 kgs of muscle standing there. He's one twitch away to being ruled out of the entire tournament, and yet they always feel them at positions where he can actually dive on the boundary skirting or has maximum chances of being injured. So I just don't understand, why is he even in the field? Why isn't
yeah,
why isn't he just hidden somewhere where he's not getting
yeah,
injured? So that is first thought. And second, I feel that Sunil Narayan is equally important. Now, it's sort of no. Uh, I'm actually questioning something that I said earlier, that I feel that they're overspending on Andre Russell and Sunil Narayan, because at this point I feel if Andre Russell goes in an auction, he's not worth 12 crores. This is my opinion. Second
Yeah,
is,
he didn't get a 100 contract, for example, last week.
yeah. So I feel Sunil Narayan is important because I'm not sold on their bowling either. And batting is something, they can still sort of, there are players who can at least put some runs on the board, but who is a proven bowler? Because we all know that there is not even a single name we can pinpoint on that, oh, he's actually a proven bowler of a T20 pedigree. So Sunil Narayan is the only bowler. Plus, I feel that given that they do not have death options and teams are playing Sunil Narayan out, he can actually be a bowler that they can try at the death. I mean, they do not have a lot to lose there. So I feel that he becomes a very important player for them.
I agree with what both of you have said, but I feel to get the maximum out of maybe someone like an Andre Russell, the batter, and maybe Sunil Narayan, the batter as well, it's going to be very important how both Nitish Rana and Rinku Singh bat, because I believe amongst the Indian batters that they have, Rinku Singh is probably their best batter of pace, and Nitish Rana, despite being a left-hander, is very good against off spin. We have seen enough evidences of that in the competition. So while they may not be as important as the two players which you have mentioned, I believe if these two players can together have a 700 run season between them, say 400 and 300 or 350 each, um, Kolkata might just overperform, than what all of us are thinking. I tend to believe that somewhere, and I do think that it can happen. I think it can happen because I really liked what I saw of Rinku Singh in the last season. Somesh, I think Somesh's screen is frozen. But anyway, the next question that we've been discussing with each and every team is that, uh, can they make the top four? Now, given the kind of discussion that we have so far, I think it's a little obvious that none of us think that they can. But and I mean no disrespect to the franchise, and I don't mean to hurt their fans either. But if they're not finishing in the top four, where do you see them finishing potentially? Do you see them as a mid-table team, or do you see them in the bottom three?
But for me, I see them as a high variance team, and we've already spoken about the necessity of Andre Russell to have a good season, someone Ryan to have a good season, and someone like Rinku Singh from the domestic batters to have a good season as well. Plus the high variance of their bowling attack. You've got to literally, I think, have 5 or 6 of the 8 players to fire to have a chance of qualification out of this group. I go on about it so many times. I feel like a broken record, but teams have got to win the boundary percentage in matches to win matches, and generally over the course of a season as well. Teams with say +1 or greater net boundary percentage, which is boundary percentage scored minus boundary percentage conceded, have a great chance of qualification. And I just don't see how this Kolkata team are going to score an above average boundary percentage unless Andre Russell goes back to 5 year ago Russell. That's the only way I see it. And so that's for me is a big question mark. Where do I see them coming? If they all fire, four or say 5 or 6 of the biggest players all fire, they might sneak in third or fourth. But I think on the whole, I wouldn't be surprised if they were 8 to 10th.
Somesh?
Yeah, I think the title of our show today should have been who will finish higher, Mumbai or Kolkata, not who will qualify. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put my money on them to qualify. Too many gaps, too many players who are past their prime, and yeah, I mean, again, I mean, we keep saying about the fact that you cannot screw up the mega auction. Once you do that, it becomes very difficult for you to construct a balanced team. And Kolkata actually did not start on a right note in the mega auction itself.
Yeah. uh, I believe if a few of their players click, then they might finish fifth or sixth. But logically speaking, uh, I think they're destined for a bottom three finish. And while this format is quite fickle,